Welcome back, everyone. So, if you've been following my channel for a while, I've been working on a Tandy 2500, kind of restoring it, bringing it back to life. It's got the CD-ROM drive fixed. It's got the hard drive fixed. I started working on the monitor by retro-brighting it, and I did a complete recap on the entire monitor. Well, I haven't really done any updates on this unit because something went horribly wrong. And I think I know what happened. When I reconnected everything inside the monitor after the recap, I mistakenly reversed the power switch and the degauss coil. They're the same plug, and they're like right next to each other. I mixed them up. And when I plugged it in, I got high voltage, but no low voltage, no power indicator. But I could hear the whine or the high-pitched power on of the high voltage side, but that's it. I put the connections back where they belong, and well, that still didn't work. And then I started probing and testing, and then I blew the fuse, and I'm like, you know what? I need either a schematic or I need some way to double check a few things to figure out where the problem lies. And I can't find a schematic for a Tandy VGM-200, but I was able to find a working VGM-200 for a price I was willing to pay. Still a little bit much, but considering this computer isn't worth what I'm putting into it. So I want to make a point. I don't care what the end result is. So let's backtrack a bit. I'm on a couple of vintage computer forums, and one of the biggest problems that people face is shipping monitors or anything with a CRT. The problem is people don't know how to pack them properly. And because of age and brittle plastics, they almost never survive shipping. Unless the person packaging it is a collector themselves, and chances are they're not. It's usually some guy or kid who finds one in their parents' attic and wants to make a few bucks on eBay. Now, I haven't opened this box yet, but there is a 10-to-1 chance that this monitor is fucking destroyed. But I don't care. I don't care. I was willing to take that risk because I already have a good retro-brighted shell. I just need the boards. I need the boards to verify the work I've done, check values on capacitors, make sure I didn't put the wrong one in the wrong spot, and then, of course, verify everything else. So if this thing is smashed, and there's a really good chance it is, at least I have the boards. Even if the CRT itself is smashed, I don't care. But let's open it up and see how bad they did. Okay, all right off the bat, I can already tell you it wasn't packed right. Here's the thing. This is a CRT display. Number one, you don't ship them face up, ever. That is you don't do that. You do not ship a CRT face up. There's a lot of reasons why. Weight distribution, because they're face heavy. The other thing is there could be particles from manufacturing that have now been launched all the way back into the neck. You don't ship a CRT face up. So I can already tell you this is going to be fun. There's no packaging at all to protect this corner, this corner, this corner, or this corner. This is packed completely wrong. The box is too small. Normally, with a CRT, unfortunately, you have to double box them. Meaning, you need a box that can secure the CRT, provide coverage, couple inches of padding on all sides, corners. You also need a box to go into that box, or for that box to go into to protect, kind of like think of it this way, you're shipping an egg. You're shipping an egg. At this point, the guy might as well have just put slap the shipping label on the face of the CRT and thrown it into the curb. I mean, this is bad. All right. Did she survive? Well, I'm thinking not. All right. So there is adequate, no, there really isn't adequate packaging at all. I mean, let's take another look here. So look at this. At least he used bubble wrap. But now if this were a Macintosh, like a Performa or an LC, I would be unpacking pieces. But the plastic that this monitor was made from was a pretty good quality to begin with. So I don't hear any breaking pieces knocking around anywhere or anything like that. It actually survived shipping. To my surprise, it survived. But yeah, it's a little scuffed up. That's okay. I didn't buy it for the CRT. I didn't buy it for the shell. I bought it for the boards. So I really don't care how badly damaged it is, as long as the boards are okay. Now what I want to do, I know that so shipping a CRT face up, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Face down. Again, all the weight is right here. You don't want that box to be top heavy. But it smells like an old radio. I've never experienced that smell in a computer product before. Don't mind this mess. This is Amelia. She's working on this Euro thing that she had to have. So let's take this down to the basement and check it out. I don't really have time right now to mess with it. I have things I got to do today. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring it down to the basement. We're going to fire it up, see if it works. So it's at this point I want to take a sidebar and talk about the monitors that we're dealing with here. So the VGM-200 that I started out with was actually the better of the three VGM-200 series monitors. The VGM-200 has a dot pitch of 0.41 millimeters, and the smaller the dot pitch, the better, or the sharper the image. So when I plugged in the VGM-220 and I noticed right off the bat the image quality was one of the worst I had ever seen in a VGA monitor, period. I remember a video that I saw that V-Westlife put out many years ago on the VGM-225. The VGM-220 and 225 use the same 0.52 millimeter dot pitch display. The VGM-200 uses the 0.41. Now the funny thing is the VGM-200 is the older of the three monitors and has a better tube. So in this video, I'm just going to cut to the chase. We are going to determine how intercompatible the components are between the three monitors. The VGM-220 and 225 are basically the same monitor. The 200 is the older and better of the three. So basically, we're going to take the CRT from the 200, and drop it into a 220 chassis. And I'm not going to spoil it at this point as to whether this works or not, but you'll find out at the end of the video. And while we're on the subject, I am going to eventually recap the entire chassis. I'm not ready to do that at this moment, but it will happen. And again, the reason we're in this situation is because my fully recapped 200 VGM-200 chassis will not power on. And I cannot figure out why. So I went out looking for a VGM-200 or equivalent, and I found the 220. And I got it for such a screaming deal that I couldn't turn it down. So there you have it. So we're going to continue on and see what we can make. Now I have other VGA monitors I could pair with this Tandy system, but I'm really trying to keep it all Tandy. So, and I wanted it to be I wanted the monitor that came with it originally to continue living in harmony with this machine. But like I said, we have to go through a little bit of pain to get to the happiness at the end. I went through the same trouble, by the way, with the CD-ROM drive on this system as well. So I mean, you know, this has been one of the most challenging vintage computer systems that I have ever restored, for this and other reasons. The hard drive had failed right after I got it. I had to repair that surgically, which was successful. The CD-ROM drive was problematic. The floppy drive was problematic. It was one thing after another. Then, you know, it's just par for the course. Sometimes you get a machine that, you know, just throw a couple of caps at it, clean everything up, and you're good to go. Maybe do some retrobrighting and you're all set. This was no picnic. This system has been challenging from the word go. So let's move on with the monitor project, and I hope you find this as enjoyable as I did. All right, here we go. So, yeah, I feel the static. So that initial whine is all I'm getting out of that monitor. This one here, also the other monitor, the reason I recapped it, you might be wondering, well, if it worked fine, why did you mess with it in the first? Oh, this is a VGM-200. It's a different model. Uh-oh. And it's got stuck adjusters here. It's a VGM-200, so it's I think I had a 200. I had a VGM-200, so it's a different model altogether. Shit. That's not okay. How did I screw that up? So here's the one that I was rebuilding. I mean, even if I just get to use it for reference. Yeah, I had a VGM-200. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay. Let's just see how she goes. The image quality is actually pretty bad. I got a lot of shadowing here. Well, a recap could fix that. Let's see how bad it looks with graphics. I mean, it's not terrible. How did I end up with a 220? I could have sworn I bought a 200, but whatever. Yeah, so there's, again, a lot of this could be repaired with a little bit of, I would start with a cap job again with this one, but I would also maybe readjust some of the ring magnets. But other than that, I mean, or the rings. I mean, it works. It works. I mean, it does work. But we're going to have to do some component swapping, potentially. But this gives me something to work for, to work from. Potentially, just swapping the CRT into this could fix it. But yeah, this one has nasty image quality. Now, the reason I recapped the 200 and went through it thoroughly is because it had an issue where it would, well, there were a couple of things. Sometimes it would power up and it would only be yellow. Like the red gun wasn't kicking in, so you would get the green and the blue. Or no, you would get, if you get yellow, that means you're not, whatever. You do the math. So it had that problem, first of all. The second thing was, it would kind of shift a little bit. So it was behaving like a cold solder joint, but also aged caps could cause some of those issues as well. I mean, I have for something this old, I'm going to always start off with caps and then work my way up from there. But, it's getting late. So I got to get going. I got a car meetup to go to, and but hey, I have a working monitor again. Whether I recap this, I'm going to recap it, but I'm going to figure out what went wrong with the other monitor before I go nuts. We're going to have to take them both apart side by side and just compare, figure out what the hell went wrong. That'll be in another video, but I just wanted to kind of, once again, do a quick PSA how not to pack a monitor. We got lucky. That one came only from Pennsylvania, so it probably didn't go through a lot of hops. It came here pretty quick, like 2 days, like 2 or 3 days, I think it took to get here. So it was on the fast truck to New Hampshire from Pennsylvania. But you don't pack a monitor like that. And I'm not calling out the seller because I just don't want to do that. But if you're selling a monitor on eBay, just don't do that. Or through Facebook Marketplace, you got to pack them well. I say no less than 6 inches of packing material on all sides. And it might be a better result. I mean, this one, just by sheer luck, it showed up in one piece. But the VGM-200 was made in, let's see. There should be a date on here. July of 91. And my 200 was made in May of 90. So, about a year later. But it looks like it uses all the same cavity molds. So, same shell. And, it looks virtually identical. Yeah, it is the same shell. Yeah, as long as it's the same shell. So you can just compare these side by side. You can see retro bright versus non-retro bright. It's probably more evident on the face, though. Not so much on the back. But getting this Tandy back up to life, back up to a functioning machine again. That's kind of my goal right now. And the only piece left is the monitor. Once that's addressed, I'm probably going to go through the power supply. And that's okay. I've got 2 power supplies. So there's another one in there right there. And once this machine is 100%, I'm going to try to get rid of that other Tandy. And this monitor I was pulling apart because I thought the problem might have actually been the, so there's a thermal relay right here that is used to briefly power on the degauss coil on startup, and then once it heats up, it opens circuits. I believe that's how this works. I thought maybe that was the problem. It was not the problem. So I swapped it over and swapped it back. It didn't fix anything. This is a Gold Star monitor made by Lucky Gold Star, which is currently known as LG. So if you didn't know what LG stands for, now you do. This is a good functioning monitor. I'm going to put this back together and probably sell it. It just needs retro brighting really badly. It's just completely tanned. I mean, look at it. It's also a fairly ugly monitor to begin with. Now, this guy was made in about 1989. And I got this, November of 89, so almost 1990. This actually came with a Vendex Head Start that I bought from an antique store that was shutting down. They had a bunch of random stuff in their collection, and this was one of them. So I think I paid $100 for the whole system, and I kept the monitor when I sold the system as a nice little spare VGA. It's a good runner. I'm going to offer it up locally. I'm sure somebody would want to tackle this. It's 35 years old. It needs a cap job for sure. But it does work, last I knew. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start swapping parts maybe after this weekend, maybe next week. I'll start doing some investigating and figure out why my good monitor doesn't power on. And if I can't figure that out, then I'm just going to swap the shells and fine-tune the display. But one way or the other, I got a lot of work ahead of me, so wish me luck. Oh, in other news, the Mac 512 is done. It's ready to go. This guy, I'm just going to, I cleaned the keyboard. That came out pretty well. I didn't feel like it needs retro brighting. The mouse, I'm going to retro bright, and the battery cover, I'm going to retro bright. But the keyboard looks all right. It doesn't really need anything. Although it is a little bit darker than the system itself. But this is the one that Amelia bought me off of Marketplace for $75. And it needed a lot of work. It's still inconsistently powering up. I did put a new battery in it. It is keeping time and it's keeping settings, so we know all that works pretty well. But the RAM expansion board is causing issues where occasionally it turns on with jail bars until you can just hit the reset button on the side and it boots up. So I don't think that's a major problem. I think it may be normal. I'm not really sure, because I do know that back in the day, I mean, a lot of times, those memory expansion boards would create problems from time to time. And the way it's installed on the machine, I feel, is part of the problem, because it literally just clips over top of existing IC chips. And I think that may be part of the problem. The way it's installed, you're not going to get a great connection. But one of the things I've noticed is once it's running, it's fine. It doesn't screw up. It doesn't freeze. It works completely fine. I'd power it up for you right now, but I don't have power hooked up to this section of the room yet. I'm going to put an outlet right there, I think. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be my next. I'm going to put an outlet right there. We need an outlet up here. We got one over there. We got one over there. We need one for here. I got one over on that end. I think what I'm going to do is tee it off of that outlet box. I might even have enough wire to do it. I just need to pick up a box and maybe just do a single gang, and just run the wire that way. And we'll just tuck it over here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I might as well. Yeah, that way I can have some power right there. It doesn't have to be a quad box. It can just be a double. And I know I've got some wire here. That's something I probably should have done today. Oh, I got plenty of wire. Oh, shit. No, I need one. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we got wire. It's 20 amps, so yeah, I got plenty of that right here. That'll do it. Yeah, that's 12 gauge. Might even have a box. Might even have an outlet and a cover. Wouldn't that be great? I might have everything I need right in this little box here. Take a quick look while we're on that subject. If not, I'll just pick one up on my way out today. Just need a single gang. They call a durable single gang box. I've got a handy box. I mean, that'll work with a clamp on it too. What the hell is that from? Well, I got my marching orders. We need power. And what I'm thinking about doing is moving some of my PCs out of my office, my collection over there, and I'm going to put them on this table. Amelia's going to love that. Or not. I'm going to put the box probably right on the beam. I'll just screw it right to the beam like that. Yeah, that might be the answer. Or we'll put it right there. Wire comes alongside this trunk, yeah, and we maybe put the box, what the hell, we'll put it someplace accessible, right? And maybe we do mount it to the beam. Maybe that's the answer. What makes these monitors so frustrating to work on sometimes is how they're built. So look at this Riffa cap, ready to pop, ready to freaking go. What I want to do is I want to do a little comparison between the two displays. So we've got both chassis, plural, right here. This one has a Samsung tube, and I think the other one had a Toshiba tube. Interesting. Looks like the neckboard is very similar. No, completely different neckboard. Completely different neckboard. But I bet the connectors are about the same. Let's get them side by side and take a look. So side by side, they're literally built the same way, but let's take a look at those main boards. That's where rubber meets the road. Looks to be the same board, basically. And so, yeah, it's the neck board and the tube that are really quite different. So what I want to do is we're going to pull the main board out and swap them. And the wiring is the same, it looks like. Blue, red, green. Blue, red. Looks like that's going to be green. Same connector header. The hold on, I got nothing but light in my face here. Yeah. Okay. So on this one, we've got little capacitors right here that are on those chips. And on this one, those capacitors have been moved. So yeah, the board has changed somewhat. Now I think I cooked the main board. I'm looking at them, just a little comparison here, and they look to be about the same. Pretty close to it. And is that a 10100? It looks like a 100 volt, 10 microfarad. Yeah. Really not sure where to go from here. My troubleshooting skills on stuff like this leaves a bit to be desired, but at least I'm willing to admit that. Yeah, it's gonna be a process to really troubleshoot this thing. I'll be honest. It's gonna be a lot of troubleshooting. But I think first things first. Let's just swap the board and see what happens. So we'll unplug all this. We're gonna just take the main board out and try not to screw it up this time. And then once I've confirmed that the issue is on the main board, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just recap the good one. And I don't know, I think I blew it up when I reversed the power switch connector with the with that. What that would have done is it would have dead shorted the it would have dead shorted it completely. The degauss coil. But I don't know what that would have blown. See, this fuse only just blew. Okay, that fuse wasn't blown, it only just blew. And that was while I was probing stuff. And I think that was me. I did it. It's my fault. Clearly the whole thing is my fault, but that's besides the point. It's a 680 microfarad. What did I put in there? It's a 256. Okay, I did put it in a 680. So something blew up and I don't know what. So let's just flip the boards around and see what happens. Before I do anything, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of these two boards and figure out, they are the same board. Part number may be different, maybe a little bit higher revision on one of these. Look at the mold that's growing on this thing. That's what the smell's coming from. Yeesh. So we're going to do a side-by-each comparison here. Figure out what I did wrong. Because I mean, clearly I did something wrong, and I don't know entirely what that might be. So, I do know this is putting out power when the switch is applied. And, I mean, the hell, right? Maybe we just bop this board right in there and just do it up, you know? Maybe we do that. Not really sure. See, look at that. Well, the original is a 164.7. And what did I put in there? I gotta check my cap values. I think I screwed up. Right off the bat, C333 should be On this one, it's a 160 volt 4.7. I grabbed a 50 volt 10 microfarad. So that by itself could very well be the reason it doesn't work. So let's not go crazy here. In fact, it did it again. 50 volt. 10 microfarad. 302. 50 volt 10. That's correct. Let's mark it in blue. So anyone that doesn't match its correct value, that may be the whole reason this thing doesn't work. That one cap, if you look at where it's located, it's on the power side of things. So C413 originally would have been a 35100. I did a 35100, yeah. Let's take a look. This one is C414, 22 microfarad. Yeah, that's correct. It just may be that one cap. 135, 135. Yeah. Yeah, it could be just that one cap this whole time. That one cap could be why we're not getting power. And I would never know unless I had another unit. There's no way to know. I grabbed the wrong part. I mean, shit happens. 100 volt 10. It's a 100 volt 10. I think I looked at it earlier. But that one is just kind of it's a 50 volt. Yeah, physical size doesn't matter. Yeah, tell her that. Okay. Yeah. 35-100, 35-100, 35-100. I think we found our problem, guys. We're going to swap that cap out. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to just recap another board, throw this one away. I want to find out why it failed. And here's the fun part. At the end of the day, I'll have a spare monitor that I could potentially resell and maybe recap and sell it as a recapped monitor. Clean it up, retro bright it. I mean, we're not destroying this good monitor here. We're not doing that. I'm going to need this fuse. But I think what happened here is I just grabbed the wrong part. You know, it's a 164.7. I know I have those. So, moment of truth, guys. This could potentially blow up in my face. Make sure the power switch is off. Here we go. Nope. Still no low voltage. The power light's not coming on. So that's going to be it for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to try swapping the main board over entirely. And then we'll go from there. But I checked my... Really? Yeah, really. Anyway. So, yeah. No low voltage of any kind. We're getting high voltage. I can hear that flyback kicking in. But that's it. Jesus Christ, hey? I don't know. I don't know what to say. That cap was wrong. My records indicated it was supposed to be a 160 volt cap. And I just grabbed the wrong part. That's on me. I could check more of them, but I'm just going to try the other board instead. And that's what we'll do tomorrow, I guess. But we have family stuff tomorrow, so it's going to have to wait. The good news is I should have enough parts here to put a functioning monitor together for that poor thing. That's been nicely retro brighted for brilliance. Now, this is probably not going to work correctly. After examining this picture tube, I discovered that it is a lower quality tube, more along the lines of the Tandy CM5. It has a glossy finish where this has a a fairly glare-resistant finish. So I put so we're mating the original Hitachi. Is it a Hitachi? No, Toshiba, with this board. Now, everything on this board is trimmed for that display. It should be compatible. I mean, I would imagine it is compatible. Interchangeable, that is. But let's go ahead and see if we get a raster out of it. I did feel that static charge. That's a good sign. That's unusual. Let's try to turn the brightness down a bit. Okay, so yeah, we got issues right off the bat. That shouldn't be blue. That should be pretty much white. I'm gonna hook up a computer and see what we get. But the good news is nothing, no sparks, no fire, no flame. We just may have to, what I'm thinking is we do a recap, an isolated recap of the entire thing. And we go from, yeah, see, look at that. It's just way off. We've got nothing but blue skies here. But yeah, it's all going to have to be retrimmed, readjusted. I marked off the position of every potentiometer here. I'm going to boot it to a Windows screen. Look at it, it's even way out of focus. Let me get some of my adjusting tools here. And let's see what we can come up with. Let's see what color looks like as a starting point and just kind of go from there. You know, the high voltage drive is probably way off. Focus is off. Oops. Let's get that. Yeah, so it's workable. I do think this has a better picture, though, for some reason. But I did notice it was scratched. So another thing is, like, we had a lot of... yeah, let's clean this up. All right. So let me just figure out what's what here. We'll start off with focus. Where's my focus? There's our drive. So I'm going to crank up the brightness to its max. And we're going to dial it back a bit. Okay. Now let's go for focus. That's better. And of course, after a full recap, it's all going to have to be changed. Red and blue look good. Let me see if I can't get a background image here. Mind you, this is Windows 3.1 on a 286. I say it runs pretty fucking good. Let's take a look at our desk. I'm going to put up a desktop background. And let's see what we got here. Argyle. Okay. That already is improved. But this is, again, this is a monitor that's running, it's running its original caps. I mean, it's going to need some, you know, it's going to need some tender love and care. Vertical, we can adjust our verticals. Vertical size, 1, 2, and 3. Those are user adjustable. Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. It's just shrunken. Actually, that's better than it looked with the original tube. And we're only getting started here. So there we go. So let's. Oh, that's not the right tool. How about this one? Here we go. So I just got to find my horizontal adjustment. Even the yoke is in a good spot. I don't see it tilted at all. You're supposed to do this with a mirror. right, let's find our horizontal. Let's see, gain, blue cutoff. I don't know, that's probably voltage. Vertical, center, frequency, and line. That's voltage. I'm looking for my my horizontal frequency, horizontal. There's pin cushion. Okay, that I gotta get the right size here. Is it this one? No. Okay, how about this one? That might be it. No, that's centering. I have more of these. Now I'm using a screwdriver. You're not supposed to use a screwdriver, but I like it. I see nothing for horizontal size. I see pin cushion. I'm gonna correct the pin cushion a little bit. Yeah. Don't know what VR303 does. Dare we find out? Dare we go down that road? It's probably going to be this slug right here. Nothing on the neck board, huh? It's we got red cutoff, red gain, green cutoff. I think our colors are perfect. I don't see any issues there, but nothing for horizontal size. Just vertical. It's probably going to be this slug. One of these is our main set point. That's going to be our horizontal adjustment. Horizontal frequency. Did we check that one? No, that's leave that alone. That looks pretty damn good, actually. But I want it to be a bigger image. I want it to fill the screen. You know? They call this a 12-inch, but it's really like 10 inches. Usable. All right. So we got our screen adjustment. We got our focus cleared up. Center that. I could probably bump the screen up a little bit, but that looks all right. That looks okay. That's maximum. All right, so maybe we do need to bump that up a wee bit. Yeah, I think we do. All right. That was the one down here in the bottom, and that is a flat. I just don't want it overdriven. That's all. Yeah. We need to get the see, now it's pin cushioning. We need to get the horizontal adjusted. Let me just see what this one does. That could be the one. I didn't turn it. Just the right size flat blade to get in there. Or Phillips. Yeah, I don't like having my hand that close to the flyback. Leave that alone. No horizontal. Pin cushion, phase. No horizontal size. But we're getting there. Might be easier to look at a board that's already apart. So on our neck board, it's just color adjustment. That's it. And on this board, so this is what we're looking at. There's our vertical, our horizontal frequency, pincushion, and phase. Don't know what VR303 is for. I don't really know what this tuning slug does either. And then you've got your voltage adjustment, vertical center, vertical line, vertical frequency. And on the back here, we have our vertical adjustment 1, 2, and 3. That's vertical height. No adjustment for horizontal size at all. Like, at all. That's kind of weak. Nothing of any value to me there. So my question is, maybe we do need to put the old tube back in, reset the adjustments, and then just leave it alone. But the old tube is scratched, and I don't want a scratched tube when I have a better one. So yeah, I don't have a service manual or anything like that either. Believe me, I wish I did. No horizontal size adjustment. Well, that sucks. That's crazy. Why not? Why not? I mean, that just seems self-defeating to me. Why would you not do that? Well, I guess it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's not, I've seen worse. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop the vertical a little bit. We're going to lower the looks like the blue is a little too saturated. Where's our blue gain? There it is. Let's take a look at that blue gain. Any of these fit that? No. None of my tools fit these adjusters. Why? Why not? I know I've got more of them too. I thought I had. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and drop that blue gain just a bit. Everything is marked for its original point, so let's just. No, it's not the blue gain that's the problem either. Let's put that back where it was. Blue cutoff. Let's just see what these adjustments do. Oh. Ooh. I'm liking some of that blue cutoff. Look at what that did for us. It got rid of look at the edges of the screen. We're just shotgunning this right now. Okay. And then we've got red gain. I can kind of tweak that up a little bit. See what that does for us? Red cutoff. And I think it was fine right where it was. Let's look at our green. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That looks good. All right. So now we're going to go back to our horizontal, our vertical size. We're going to drop it down to a peg. Okay. I think that's all right. I mean, that looks good. Let's turn this light off here. Okay, that one's off. That's not terrible. And then we can lower our, look at that. It's dark though. Turn the brightness up. Okay, we got good brightness. Now we just need to correct for pincushion. And I think what I'm going to do, and look, that looks perfect. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to bring our pincushion back into line. And I probably should have left that alone, but I like to play. Here we go. Let's take a look at it dead on. And we're going to solve for X. Straighten up those edges. Ah, look at that. That's good. That's really good. Chef's kiss. No cap replacement needed at this point. We've pretty much compensated for that. And let's turn it off. Turn it back on again. Yeah, it's looking good, guys. That's looking strong. Really strong. So at full brightness, yeah, I think we got a little bit of a green cutoff situation here. So we're gonna tweak our green cutoff, and I can still see that green in the background, which I don't think I'm supposed to. We'll drop that like that. Oh, look at that. And I'm just looking at this from memory, guys. What I remember. What a good Windows 3.1 screen should look like in 90s color. So what I'm going to do, folks, in the interest of the fact that I just have so much going on in my life right now, I'm going to pop this back together and we're going to leave it the fuck alone. And then maybe down the road, we'll give it a proper recap. I mean, that's, I think, the best way about this. You know? I think that's the best way to go about this job. And that is to just, again, leave well enough alone. It is a functioning monitor. It looks good. The image is great. And that's that. Let's check our horizontal centering. I think the horizontal is a little bit off. So let's tweak that a little bit. No, I think that's all right. That's okay. Horizontal phasing, frequency. We tweak that a little bit. Let's kind of go one way or the other here. Yeah, that's okay. Now that's at full brightness. I think that's pretty good. We drop the brightness down a bit, and the ghosts on the edges go away, as they should. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. So we're going to put this monitor back together. This is the best monitor I've ever had on this machine to this point, honestly. And I'm not joking. This is the best looking one with the least number of issues. And I built it myself. No. So what we got going on here, we have the original tube, the original shell. We've got a VG-220 chassis powering it all. All the grounds are disconnected. We got to fix all that. But for now, I'm going to call this a night. That looks all right. I can live with that. Now let's see how it looks in DOS mode. So DOS is native resolution here. And we got the focus. Yeah, the focus looks all right. In DOS, it's a little dark. So that's a little dark. I have had this happen before on monitors where in text-only mode, DOS, it falls flat on its face. I have to figure out why that happens. Maybe we bump screen up a little more. No. Okay. That's good enough. I feel it should be brighter than that. It may be possible that what we end up having to do here is once we recap the whole monitor, this might correct itself. Let's see what it looks like in see what the line editor looks like. It's all right. So this is vertical 2. So there's two vertical modes. And one of them is for, depending on the video mode, that's mode 2. Okay. So we brought the vertical up for DOS. If I go back to Windows, how does it look? I'm still seeing the pin cushionings a little bit pin cushioned. That looks brilliant. Okay. Now if I do a Control-Alt-Delete, that looks all right. Get the system startup dialog. So yeah, we're not gonna worry about the caps on this one right now. Let's just get it working. And if we have any issues down the road, the first place I'm going to look are capacitors. Now, the one thing I have actually done to this display, and by the way, when that happens, I'm going to keep the boards from the other display because they do have good caps on them. I'm not going to throw those away. So, to reiterate, we'll recap it as needed. That's it. I'm going to reassemble the display with all parts. Grounding shields and whatnot. Got a functioning CD-ROM drive. This is so cool. Yeah, we'll put all the grounds back. We'll correct it. And it does look a little washed out. Yeah. It just looks overdriven. I want to cut that down. Just a twitch. Yeah, all right. Okay, that's better. All right. Okay. Let's look at that. Okay. Ideally, you want all of the controls to be correct when your brightness and contrast are in their detented positions and their middle positions. Ideally. Pin cushioning's got to come in just a tweak. Okay. Vertical position. Vertical position's a little off. When I look at it dead on, no, it's all right. All right, I think we're good. So I'm done for the night. I'm going to put this away. Let's unplug power so my kitties don't get shocked. All right, so the one cap I did replace was the crack to shit Riffa cap. That guy right in there, that little blue thing. That guy. That's been replaced. The original one was completely trashed. Just crack. I still have it. Let's take a look at it. So we did do the Riffa cap, which was probably 1 or 2 power cycles away from blowing it to pieces. But you look at this guy, it's got cracks throughout the shell. Look at that. It's just looking, it's dying to fail. Get rid of it. I'll hang on to this board for now, and this one too. And when the time comes to bring back the dead, yeah, we'll have that done. But right now I'm just happy because I have a good running monitor for that system. And I can kind of put that project put it away. It's been retro-brighted. It looks good. It runs good. And all the little problems have been gone through and resolved. So I'm pleased as punch about that. That guy right there, that LG monitor, you know, one of these days I'll get to it. Probably hang on to the tube. I don't know. I really don't want to be hoarding parts for these. There's not a lot of value here. But to me, a running VGM-200 or 220 is, you know, that's all aces right there. So one of the things I noticed, and I talked about this a bit, just touched on it, the ring magnets on that tube need to be repositioned because there is a lot of red bleed, a lot of convergence issues going on with that monitor, or that tube, whereas this tube doesn't have this problem. I believe this is a much lower hour tube than what came out of it, or than what was in that chassis, this chassis. So it has a better picture. It didn't get bounced around the country. So, you know, pretty happy about that. So as I stated earlier in the video, we were going to add an outlet here for a workbench. And that's exactly what I did. So I added this outlet right here. And I added a bus bar to the table. It's screwed to the table supports. So we have a nice little place to work on these systems. And while I was there, I relocated an outlet that was over here. I moved it over here so that it's out of the way. It was up in the ceiling, and I don't like, and I did the same thing over there. I moved that outlet set over there, put it down. Anyway, so let's, I got a suggestion from a fellow vintage computer collector that there may be a horizontal adjustment, a horizontal width adjustment. And it was probably going to be that coil that I didn't really know what its function was. Ooh, I almost cut my mouse wire. Seriously. Don't do that. So we're going to take a look. And we're gonna pop the cover back off, and we're going to see if that's the coil we're looking for. Once I get the width figured out, then I can better adjust the geometry. I hope this is what I'm looking for. All right, I think I found the tuning slug in question. There it is. We haven't touched that one. We don't know what it does yet, but we're going to find out. This could be our width adjustment. There has to be a width adjustment somewhere in this display. I mean, there has to be. I don't like putting my hands that far in, but I actually don't know what it does. It's not doing anything. Oh. Okay. It is actually affecting the picture, but only very subtly. Okay. Let's change video modes. Let's go to DOS. I'm not seeing much of an effect of any kind. Seriously, this monitor has no adjustment for width, which just blows my ever-loving mind. I mean, it would have to, wouldn't it? So there's that slug, and it seems to shift the dots a little bit, but only a little bit. I'm seeing like a little bit of a shift, but not much else. There's one other adjustment pot that I haven't touched, and And that's it. I can't, yeah, it does. It has like a shift, and it's very subtle. But of little value to what we're trying to accomplish here. And then there's this one here. Which I'm having a hard time even getting it to turn. There's horizontal phase, horizontal frequency. And sadly, none of them seem to be very effective at solving our little problem. Now it should fit. Oh yeah, hey, look at that. Yeah, this is horizontal shift. So the image should be centered like that. And then there should be an adjustment for the shift. That's pin cushion. That's phase. So the image itself is now shifted entirely over. And there's no vertical center. Horizontal center is what I'm looking for. And I'm not even finding that. So yeah, a little annoying. So these are all color trim pots. There is no horizontal. There's that guy, that's a voltage adjustment, which isn't what we're looking for here. And that adjusts something to do with voltage. Oh, no, that's horizontal center. So there's our horizontal center adjustment. All right, we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Okay. That's something. But now we have a little bit of a pin cushion problem. So we'll go back to that. We just created a pin cushion effect. Does this one have a different size? It may seem so. There we go. Let me sit at it at viewing angle. Okay. That's vastly improved, but really not quite there because what I want to do is bury this shadow into the edges, and I can't do that without adjusting horizontal width, which there is no adjustment for. But there is that one right there, and I'm curious as to what it does. We found it, guys. Well, not quite. Okay, that's it. That's gonna have to do it. But now we have to shift the image over that a ways, and we did that with was it horizontal phase maybe? Okay. Yeah. It's just gonna have to do it, I guess. Yeah. Can't seem to move the... Or, no, we did, didn't we? Hold on. What did we figure out? Yeah, that's the one. And then we take that, center it back. Can I live with that? Just about. Now we have a bit of a pincushion effect here. But there is no adjustment for that other than all right, hold on. Straighten out them edges. You got to look at it head on to get it right. So there really is no let's take a look at these verticals. I found the voltage adjustment trim makes the screen grow and shrink, but I feel like this is something that should be done under the guidance of a service manual, because I am certain that there's a set point that it is not to exceed. But I did crank it up a little bit, which allowed the screen or the image size to grow just a little bit. We still have this little flick here. I can't seem to tune that out of it. But once again, you know, with older CRT monitors, you're gonna get stuff like that, unless it's been recapped. It's just gonna happen. There's no way around it. But the image is clear. It's good and bright. Geometry is as good as I'm going to get it. But aged out electrolytics can cause a variety of symptoms, and I just get the feeling that that's what we're dealing with here. We once again try to bring that back to what it should be. But I see a little bit of a bow here, a little bit here. There is no adjustment for it. It's just my belief, you know, we're dealing with aged out electrolytics. Of course, other passive components besides electrolytics can fail, so that's not something that should be completely passed off as bunk. But we've gone through all the tuning slugs and adjusters, and I think we've gotten, I mean, the image is straight, so we don't need to worry about the yoke. There's nothing on the neck board that we can really mess with here that would improve anything at this point. But that voltage adjustment, VR901, did increase the picture size. I think I bent one of my tuners over there. Whoops. I put a little bit of pressure on it and it just folded, but it's still good. It's not an issue. But we'll know after a full recap, which I'm not going to do right now. I might do it this winter. I don't need to do anything to it yet, but we'll know after a full recap what our situation is. But otherwise, I'm pretty pleased with how things are going with this monitor.